A sharper, more layered shock opener. A startling revelation tied to O'Sullivan's alleged reach over SAP's, IPID, and the NPA, framed as a single, vivid, high-stakes fact. Instant tension. No greetings. A line that hits like, one man allegedly directing 3 power centers. That's not oversight, that's leverage. A longer, clearer promise. What COS Nkabinde alleges O'Sullivan truly controls. How SAP's, IPID, and NPA allegedly shift in synchrony. The hidden mechanics of influence. And the one detail tying all of Nkabinde's claims together. The payoff is framed as, by the end, you'll understand how influence becomes infrastructure. A sharpened, more provocative question or challenge. Who watches the watchdogs when the watchdogs allegedly take instructions from outside? Encourage comments. If 3 institutions could be steered by one voice, what would you call that? A micro-challenge. Drop one word in the comments that sums up this kind of power. Each block will later be 80-120 words, but here we expand conceptual structure plus narrative direction. The foundational question: how does a private investigator become more feared than official commanders? Subpoints to include later. Establish O'Sullivan's public reputation versus insider perception. Set the contrast between formal authority and informal power. Actionable note: spotting when influence surpasses mandate. Reveal a hidden early link between O'Sullivan and high-ranking officers. Subpoints: the mentorship perception. The surprising reversals of who advises who. Dual fact punch: he had access and authority, unofficially. Create tension with a dramatized real-world moment. A case suddenly redirected after a call from outside. Subpoints: how investigators react. How SAP's hierarchy shifts. Actionable insight: power moves quietly. Nkabinde describes a day when reporting protocol allegedly changed unexpectedly. Subpoints: who suddenly demanded updates. The sense of being monitored externally. Punch line: that moment raised every alarm. Zoom out. What happens when transparency collapses not by corruption but by overreach? Subpoints: the risk of single-source intelligence. The dangers of informal gatekeepers. Actionable takeaway about decentralizing information flow. What happens when watchdogs follow someone who isn't sworn into office? Subpoints: the blurred lines around whistleblowers versus power brokers. IPID structural vulnerability. The oversight paradox. Reveal 2 conflicting facts. 1. IPID claims independence. 2. Yet certain cases accelerate only when O'Sullivan becomes aware. Subpoints: timing discrepancies. Insider whispers. A quiet pattern emerging. Build a turning point moment. A high-stakes meeting where SAP's, NPA, and IPID discuss a case, but an external update allegedly changes everything. Subpoints: sudden strategic U-turn. Nkabinde's reaction. Seeds of suspicion. This is the exact midpoint. Mid-video CTA comes immediately after. A powerful, narrative-coherent CTA such as, if this is the first time you're hearing claims like these, don't just watch, participate. Your comment shapes the next chapter. Or, if systems can be swayed, voices must be louder. Drop your thoughts below. These blocks introduce twists, hidden layers, overlooked mistakes, and wider implications. A confidential briefing where Nkabinde says he spotted a pressure pipeline. Subpoints: officers referring to instructions they never received internally. Quiet fear in the room. A hint of parallel command structures. Why SAPs and NPA sometimes move like a synchronized machine. Subpoints: shared informants, shared external consultant, shared tipping points. A case file's unexpected detour. Subpoints: chain of custody confusion. A mysterious preemptive call. How one moment shifted an investigation's trajectory. Who benefits most when accountability tilts selectively? Subpoints: winners versus losers. Cases that stall versus cases that sprint. Power in redirection. Zoom out again. Subpoints: practical ways institutions protect themselves. The cost of relying on unofficial power channels. Actionable insight, audit influence, not individuals. Reveal dual-fact contrast. Internal oversight is predictable. External influence is invisible. Punchline, invisible power hits harder. Reconstruct a timeline. A SAP's operation. A sudden shift. A trail leading back to an unexpected figure. When cases accelerate unnaturally, who's pushing? Subpoints. Red flags in legal trajectories. Quiet beneficiaries. How patterns expose influence. Nkabinde describes the moment everything clicked. Subpoints. 3 agencies bending in similar ways. One common denominator. The chilling realization. Close the argument. Subpoints. The fragile nature of public trust. Why influence should be traceable. Actionable takeaway. Power without oversight is risk. A clean, polished synthesis of the journey. What viewers now understand. Why Nkabinde's allegations matter. What signs to watch for in future cases. End with a sharp teaser for the next episode. Because if one man can sway institutions, imagine what comes next.